Ole Miss fans need a hotel for the game weekend? Many OTAs keep all the commissions, but at Fan Plans, you still get your loyalty points, receive direct confirmation from the hotel, and you support Rebel Grove. Visit fanplans.com/Rebel Grove today.
Welcome into another edition of The Butcher versus the Spin Instructor, presented by LB's Meat Market. I'm Neil McCready. Greg Jones of LB's Meat Market drinking an old school Gatorade right there in the aluminum can. That's good stuff, man. It brings back memories right there. It just tastes better in a can.
It does.
It does. It does. It's scientifically proven. Campbell's like, what do you mean, Gatorade?
I didn't even know this came in cans before.
Yeah, well,
it used to come in a bottle.
They did, Whippersnapper, and they were awesome. And then you came along and you all insisted on ruining everything. So, yeah. So there's Campbell McCready of Zen Studios. She's joining us today as well. We're going to pick some games. Got some SEC games, got some other games that we'll pick as well. Before we do that, it's a big weekend coming up in Oxford, Greg. It's going to be packed. Vaught Hemingway sold out for Auburn and Ole Miss. It means a lot of people coming to town. It's an early game, which means there will be a lot of people, I would assume, after the game hitting you guys up for stuff to cook and that kind of stuff. How can they get in touch with you? What's going on there at LB's?
Yeah, we'll run regular hours, and then now that we've know what to do at the 11 o'clock game, we're going to open up at 1 o'clock again. So 1 to 6 on Saturday, and then 1 to 6 on Sunday. So always call the store. That's always the best way. And then we've got social media outlets. But, yeah, it should be a pretty big weekend. I'll have plenty of lane trains. We'll have plenty of center cut fillets. And I'm going to be making some more sausage here in a little bit. So, yeah, we'll be ready to go.
What's the latest sausage you've come up with?
Well, we did the Cheeto chicken sausage. I think I'm gonna do a spinoff with the apple or another sweeter sausage. Or I've been looking on Instagram. There's a couple new ones I've looked at. I want to do like a veggie sausage, but like I don't know what kind of the base I could do. With the mushrooms, green onions, sun-dried tomatoes, and stuff like that. So we're trying to be creative around here. So we're figuring it out.
You've got to figure out some sort of a pumpkin spice sausage. Everything else is pumpkin. Everywhere I look, it's pumpkin spice.
I can do a pumpkin beer, maybe do a pork sausage and maybe do something like maybe do the Harvest Apple and then just put some Oktoberfest in there. So like the Harvest Apple has Oktoberfest beer in it. So maybe that'll be a kick we can do with the Harvest Apple.
So you've got that going on this weekend. Campbell's got a big senior trip planned with a bunch of her friends headed to Las Vegas. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We fly out Friday night at I think our flight from here is at 8:30 or 9.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it straight to Vegas, or you go through Dallas, or what?
It's straight to Vegas.
Straight to Vegas from Northwest Arkansas, huh? That'll be a little culture shock.
I'm sure she'll be at the swimming pool with all the football games on the TV. So she, because she's got.
Yeah, I've already told my friends I'm going to spend the whole day watching all the games, so they can go do whatever without me.
I'm sure. Yeah, right. There's a better chance that you'll be doing your studies from the pool than there is you watching the games. Speaking of games, let's dive into them a little bit. Greg, you had a comeback. You went 5-5 last week. Campbell went 3-7, so you're closing the gap. Campbell's lead now cut to 3 games. Campbell's 30-33. Greg, you're 28-35. Y'all are both you're both just kind of treading water.
Treading water.
So, we'll dive right into the games here. A big slate of college football games, as always. This is week 7, and things starting to get intense. Auburn heads to Oxford to play Ole Miss. This game we talked about, 11 a.m. on ESPN. Greg, this line's all over the place. The line we're going to go with, because what I do is I pick up the lines on Monday morning, and I send these guys the numbers, and we just go with those lines. So the line has moved some. But the line we're using is Auburn plus 15.5 at Ole Miss.
Yeah, I like the Rebels. I mean, it seems like Auburn might be a disaster, but I just can't pick Auburn with those too many points and with that offense. So I'm going to go with the Rebs.
All right, Campbell, he's going to take Ole Miss. He's going to lay 15.5. What about you?
I'm gonna go with Ole Miss too. I pick Ole Miss every week. I think that's a trend of mine.
Yeah, it's been a good one. They've Ole Miss is 17-3 in their last 20 games. So picking Ole Miss is probably pretty smart. And you've consistently picked against Auburn, and that's worked too because they have lost more than half of their last 20 games. So you're on to something. All right, Campbell, we go to the Big Ten. Got Penn State at Michigan. This is also an 11 a.m. game. This is the big noon Saturday game. This will be 9 o'clock in the morning out there in Vegas when you get up bright and early to watch the games. Penn State, Campbell, is a 7-point underdog at Michigan.
I'll go with Michigan. I mean, I don't really have an angle for this one, but I still go with.
All right, Greg, she's going to take the Wolverines, lay the 7.
I'm gonna go Penn State. We'll just maybe that's a field goal game. Maryland gave Michigan a pretty good game a couple weeks ago, so just basing it off at Penn State is kind of amped up for this game. So hopefully a field goal decides it.
Should be an interesting one. One that probably will not be very interesting. The SEC Network burying this game. Greg, Vanderbilt coming off of its 52-28 loss to Ole Miss. They get rewarded with the trip to Athens, Georgia to face the top-ranked Bulldogs. This game at 2:30 on the SEC Network. Greg, Vanderbilt is a 38-point underdog.
I'm going to go with Georgia. I just can't. I mean, for some strange reason, I'm just going to go Georgia. It seems like a lot of points.
All right, Campbell, it's really not a question of whether Georgia is going to win this game. It's a question of, does Georgia care enough to win by more than 38? That's the question.
I'll go with Georgia, I guess.
All right, both of you guys, big spenders, just laying the points down, 38 points.
For some reason, I think a garbage touchdown might bite us.
Yeah, that's a lot of points. All right, the big national game that everyone's kind of talking about. When you're leaving the Grove after the 11 a.m. game, this is going to be the game that everybody's going to have on their sets. It's Alabama, the now third-ranked Crimson Tide, coming off of a narrow win over Texas A&M. They head to Knoxville to face number 6 Tennessee. This game 2:30 Central on CBS. Campbell, Alabama is a 7.5-point favorite on the road at Neyland Stadium.
I'll go with Alabama. I just always pick Alabama. So
not even a moment's hesitation. She's not buying the big oranges back.
And I don't like the color that orange. So there we go. There's another reason.
Yeah, that's 2 reasons. That's a lot. So Greg, are you going to go against that, or are you going to stick with the Tide here?
I will stick with Alabama. It's hard to bet against Nick Saban and Alabama. So until I get knocked off the pedestal, well, because they didn't cover last week, so I should change it up maybe, but no, I think Alabama should easily win by 2 touchdowns.
All right, we go into a intersectional game. 2:30 on ESPN, so it'll be 12:30 out there Central Time. I'm sure that Campbell and her group will be locked into this. It's the Arkansas Razorbacks heading to Provo to play BYU. The Cougars. It's a 2:30 game on ESPN. BYU, Greg, is a 3-point favorite over the Hogs.
I'm going to go Arkansas. I'm going to go Arkansas. Is KJ Jefferson playing?
Campbell, is KJ playing?
That's not a question to ask me. I don't know.
Campbell, if KJ doesn't play, who's the quarterback for the Razorbacks? If KJ can't go,
I don't know.
I was hoping that she'd name the punter. That Caroline has class with.
Oh yeah.
The kicker. You know his name?
Cam.
Cam, yeah, you know Cam. Okay, that's all we know. And
Cam the kicker.
And
that's the only thing I know about Arkansas football is that Caroline has a class with Cam.
Cam the kicker.
In our house, all you have to know, Greg, is in the family chat we just cheer for the field goal unit. When Cam goes out there, we're all hope that Cam makes his kick because we feel bad for the abuse Cam took after the Texas A&M game. All right,
that's a good horse name, Cam the Kicker.
Cam the Kicker. So, Campbell, I'm going to assume you're going Georgia in the Arkansas in the 3 points as well.
Yes.
All right, we go to the Big 12. Let's see, Campbell. We go to the Big 12 here. It's Oklahoma State coming off a win last week over Texas Tech. They head to Fort Worth to play TCU. TCU coming off that big win at Kansas. It's a 2:30 game on ABC. Oklahoma State, Campbell, getting 3.5 points.
I'll go with TCU.
Oh wow, Campbell going with the Horned Frogs. Any particular reason there?
Isn't their color purple? They wear purple.
They do wear purple.
I like the color purple. So
all right, that's.
I wasn't expecting her to know the
I'm
color.
wearing purple. So
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
okay. So
It's
she's
like-
going with the Regal angle here, Greg. She's going with TCU. She's going to lay 3.5 points against Mike Gundy and the Cowboys. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a really good game, honestly. I mean, TCU's pretty good. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State. For some strange reason, I like the Cowboys.
I do too. They're fun to watch. All right, we go ACC now. A big ACC game between two nationally ranked teams. It's 15th ranked North Carolina State on the road in the Carrier Dome, or whatever they call it now. I'll always call it the Carrier Dome. I covered a game there 20 years ago against 18th ranked Syracuse. This game's at 2:30 Central. You can see it if you are so inclined on the ACC network. Greg, NC State's a 5-point dog at Syracuse.
I'm gonna go Syracuse. I think they're kind of like got a little Cinderella theme going. So they kind of were down. I think they were close to losing that game the other day or something like that, and they came back and won right at the last second. So we'll ride the momentum of the Carrier Dome. Let's go Syracuse.
Campbell, you don't like the Tennessee orange. Do you like the Syracuse orange?
Well, I didn't really know their colors until you just said that. So I'll go with North Carolina State, I guess.
All right, going with the red and white, a little bit of black.
It doesn't matter what shade of orange. It is not her color.
Well, I feel like because I used that angle earlier, I kind of got to stick with it for the rest,
Touche.
Sure, absolutely. All right, speaking of angles, you went purple earlier in the day, Campbell, with TCU. Another purple coming off an absolute beatdown at home by Tennessee. I mean, they got popped, LSU did. LSU heads to Gainesville, Florida. This is a 6 o'clock game on ESPN. After you've celebrated in the Grove and you've gone to LB's, this is the game that you probably turn on, at least at first, while you're grilling your lane trains. LSU, Campbell, a 3-point underdog at Florida.
Well, now I feel like I kind of got to go with LSU.
I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to. I think you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself questions about how loyal you are to the color purple to go with an underdog in the swamp.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Florida.
Now LSU.
I'm not loyal to purple like the green angle has been.
Okay, fair enough.
So it doesn't count.
There's percentages of
There's
love.
percentages, yeah, for sure.
Greg, she's going to take the Gators and lay the 3 against Brian Kelly and the Tigers.
I want to take Florida too. I like Florida. I think this is good. This has got to be the Grey Goose game. Hopefully, this bottle is empty by halftime of this game.
Oh,
and you can sleep through the end of it and wake up in the morning and find out who wins.
personally, I think the game we're about to talk about is the Grey Goose game, but it's your show and you can call it.
Oh well, we got plenty of Grey Goose.
Okay, we might have a double dip of Grey Goose. Mississippi State, Greg, goes to Kentucky. It's a 6:30 game on the SEC network. Mississippi State giving 6.5 points on the road against a Kentucky team that lost last week without Will Levis.
Hopefully Will Levis is playing this week, and they're a different team whenever he's playing. So I'm going to take Kentucky as a home underdog.
All right, Campbell, you've gone with Mississippi State a few times this year. They sort of abused your team last week. They popped your Razorbacks pretty good in Starkville. What do you think here? Greg's going to take Kentucky and 6.5 points against Mississippi State.
I'll just go with Mississippi State, I guess, just to go against Greg on this one.
Okay, just being contrarian. Sure. Yeah. All right, last one, Campbell. It's USC, the Trojans. You know where USC is from, right? Where do they play?
Is that in California?
It is. University of Southern California. They're there in LA. USC ranked 7th in the country, undefeated. They head to Utah. Utah ranked 20th coming off the loss at UCLA last week. They'll take their shot at LA's other team. USC's a 3.5-point underdog, Campbell. This game, 7 o'clock on Fox.
I'll go with USC. I don't have an angle for this one either, but
all right, Greg, she's going to take the Trojans, Lincoln Riley and the guys, and she's going to take the 3.5 points in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, it should be a good game. I'm going to go Utah for some strange reason. I just like their coach, and I just go down with them. I like a good football coach.
All right, so you guys both have Ole Miss. Campbell's got Michigan. Greg's got Penn State. You both laying 38 points with Georgia. You're both laying 7.5 with Alabama. You're both taking the 3 with Arkansas. Greg's going Oklahoma State. Campbell going TCU in that game in Fort Worth, a 3.5-point spread. Campbell taking NC State and the points at Syracuse. Greg going with the orange. Both of you taking Florida, laying the 3 against LSU. Campbell taking Mississippi State, laying 6.5 at Kentucky. Greg sticking with the horse racing theme, going with the Wildcats. And then Campbell taking 3.5 points with SC at Utah. Greg taking the Utes. All right. So again, don't forget 2008 University Avenue in Oxford, right across from Kroger. It's the freshest cuts. These guys are great, but the product there is just absolutely fantastic. They do a great job, great service. The lane trains, the freshest cuts of beef, got great chicken, great wings. If you haven't tried the wings at LB's, you are missing out. They're fantastic. Pork, seafood. They've got the stuffed jalapenos, the stuffed mushrooms, bacon wrapped asparagus, so much stuff at LB's. It's all fantastic. The service is wonderful. Greg, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, always call the store, 662-259-2999. We take call-in orders because it helps us out. We can get you ready, have your order ready to go to where you walk in and walk out. So always call the store.
All right, Greg, have a great weekend. Good luck with all the traffic that's heading into LB's. Campbell, be careful and safe in Las Vegas. Have fun, but be smart. And we'll get back next week with another edition of the Butcher.
Yeah, come back to us next week.
Yeah,
come
back in one piece. For the Butcher versus the Spin Instructor, presented by LB's Meat Market. For Greg Jones, for Campbell McCready, I'm Neil McCready. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.